Hello and welcome to Ventech. The purpose of this short video is to show the viewer Ventech's modest involvement in combating the spread of COVID-19 by developing a sanitation system for diesel-powered commercial vehicles.
Okay, so it's June 26th at about 8 a.m. in the morning, and today we are going to test our COVID-19 sanitation system on this full-size school bus. This is a late model IC bus, kindly provided to us by Notre Dame Schools out of Pontiac, Michigan. And a bit like the last video where we ran our device on a United Airlines catering truck, today we're going to do it on this school bus, which is about the biggest challenge as far as trying to heat up the passenger compartment to 130 to 133 Fahrenheit. A bus is about as tough as it gets. This school bus, full-size school bus, and it's basically powered by the engine out of a diesel pickup truck. This is a Cummins ISB, so it's a big cavity to heat up to such a high temperature using a basically relatively small engine. So a quick walk around the installation. First we'll look at the bus. So we've taken this bus and hanging out the window up here is a data logger. It's rather crudely hanging there, but there's a data logger which is picking up 4 thermocouples which are wired through the window. The cable of the data logger goes down to the computer, which we'll show you in a minute. Inside the bus, you can see that we have some thermocouples mounted. Here's a thermocouple mounted from the ceiling above the driver. And if we walk down the bus, you can see here is a second thermocouple hanging below this exhaust vent. And there is a third thermocouple at the very back of the bus hanging below that exhaust vent. So we have 3 thermocouples, bus rear, midship, and the driver area. Now we also have a 4th thermocouple which is mounted outside just for us to get a reference temperature. This thermocouple hanging down is showing us ambient air temperature just for reference. So the data logger is then plugged into a PC over here, and we have one PC, this left-hand PC, which is showing us the heater performance coming from the data logger. And on this display we have 4 parameters: cab 1, cab 2, cab 3, and OAT. OAT means outside air temperature, and we've got them in Celsius and in Fahrenheit. And then we've got a real-time graph which is going to show us what's happening. So you can see at the starting point everything is sitting there about 62 Fahrenheit, which is this morning's ambient, and I've got a logger which I can turn on to keep the data. And on this computer we have the LHG parameters. So it shows me the coolant temperature down here. It's currently 18, this is in Celsius, currently 18 Celsius. Some other parameters which are useful to me. So once we start the test, I'm going to turn on the data logger, turn on the LHG, and we're just going to run it, and we're going to see how long it takes for the ambient temperature inside the cab to raise to 130 to 133 degrees Fahrenheit. It's been stated by several medical establishments that if we can heat the cabin of a vehicle to 130 to 133 for 15 consecutive minutes, we can eradicate the COVID-19 virus. So I'm going to turn off the camera and we'll get the unit running, and then we'll start filming again. Okay, so we started running the test already. The LHG has heated up to 70 degrees Celsius and rising. The LHG is doing great. Interior temps are slowly coming up. So we've been running about 3 minutes. So we're about 10 or 11 minutes, 12 minutes into the test, and you can see that the cab temperatures are already over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's doing pretty well. Got another 32 to go, but everything's looking very good. Okay, so we're about 23 minutes, 24 minutes into the test. See the bus is in the shade, which is quite nice, so we don't have the heat on the bus. And I moved the ambient air temperature sensor away from the bus a little bit because we were getting the heat off the exhaust from under the bus. So I moved it up and sort of taped it and stuck it out a bit to try and be less influenced by the heat radiating off the exhaust system. So anyway, about 25 minutes past the test, 25 minutes after we started, and the cab temps are now, you know, pushing, but they're over 120, you know, 121, 119, 122. So about another 10-11 degrees, and we'll be at the desired temperature to eradicate COVID. So we're about 40 minutes into the test, and you can see that, you know, we're at temperature now, 133, 131, 133. So you know, this is the target temperature for the eradication of the COVID virus. So we're going to sit here for about 15 minutes, and we'll consider the test a success. So during the test, you know, we've got this ambient air temperature of reference, which is stuck to the side of the bus, but it's being influenced by the heat coming off the bus now, because the sensor on the bus, outside the bus, is saying that the ambient is 73, but over here I've got a thermocouple just in the air on a fluke meter, and you can see it's actually about 68, 68.5. So the real ambient is more like 60, 69 degrees Fahrenheit, and not the 76 degrees, which 74 degrees, which we're picking up on the instrumentation. Okay, so we're coming up on about 58 minutes, nearly an hour's run. We've been at over 133 for a good 15 minutes now, and the cab is now sitting at around 140 Fahrenheit or 60 degrees Celsius throughout the cab. So again, those three sensors are the back of the cab, midship, and up by the driver. So a good solid 140 Fahrenheit, 60 degrees Celsius throughout the bus. We're going to stop the test now, but I think that's pretty. You can see that we have set the fast idle using the Cummins cruise feature to about 1500 RPM for the test. Of course, the LSG is geared up, so the LSG is running about 3000 RPM. We have all the heaters turned on, midship heaters, stepwell and driver heat. And of course there's the LHG controller turned on. I'm actually getting in the bus now at the end of the test. Everything is almost too hot to touch. But a great test. I'm almost passing out in here at 140 Fahrenheit, but tested very, very well.